Welcome back into Pigskin Perspectives. I'm your host, as always, Nick Burt. We have another football weekend that's just ahead of us. It feels like we just did the recap for last weekend, and we're already getting ready for this weekend. That's just how football season rolls. Just keep trucking along. There were already some college football games on Tuesday and Wednesday. Some CUSA and Sun Belt action. We're in the time of year where there's football on every single day until basically Thanksgiving. So the football, it's just bountiful, so enjoyous to watch. Good football, bad football, doesn't matter. It's always fun to watch. We're here to preview week 7 of the college football season, the official halfway mark of the season, which is insane to say, but we are hitting halfway. So there are 14 weeks. We're at week 7. That's halfway. And week 6 of the NFL. So let's get underway as we always do. College football. I have one of the better 6-packs I think I've had. I personally love this 6-pack. I think all 6 games are going to be quite intriguing on there. So let's get into it. So first game we have on this 6-pack is number 3, Ohio State, traveling to West Lafayette to face off against the Purdue Boilermakers at noon on Peacock. Purdue has always been a boogie team for Ohio State, it seems. It seems like anytime Ohio State goes to West Lafayette, they struggle quite a lot. So, them, with it not being a night game, I don't think they'll struggle as much. That just adds more spookiness to it and causes Ohio State to lose more, I guess. But it's just, I'm not fully worried about Ohio State in this spot, but I'm nervous because Purdue isn't a great team. They're an average team, first-year head coach. But this could be a game where, things just don't go right for Ohio State and Purdue capitalizes on that and ends up with the victory somehow. Because, when they've done it before, Purdue has, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it happens again. Obviously, this is different leadership for both teams than what was there when, all these games happened. But I'm still worried about Ohio State in this situation, especially given it's a noon kickoff. I worry too much, I would say, but I think Ohio State might be in a little bit of trouble this weekend. I'd say biggest game of the day, biggest game of the one of the biggest games of the season. I don't do the biggest. I mentioned that. I don't pick one game of the year. There can be multiple games of the year, but one of the biggest games of the season so far. It might end up being one of the biggest games of the season period. It is number 8 Oregon traveling to Seattle to face off against number 7 Washington. Obviously, I am repping a future Heisman winner, Bo Nix. Be bodacious. This is going to be a huge game, I think, for both his and Michael Penix Jr.'s Heisman campaigns. I think whoever comes out of this game with the victory ends up being the front runner for the Heisman as of now. We're only at the midpoint of the season. Heismans are won in November, not September and October. That's cold hard fact. But this game is going to put somebody in the driver's seat for the Pac-12. Going to put somebody in the driver's seat to make the playoff out of the Pac-12. And on top of all this, these are two rivals that absolutely hate each other. This is going to be truly an incredible environment. Oregon is 7-1, I believe is the stat, in the past 8 games in Seattle. They know how to win on the road. This is a tough game to pick because both teams are really good. I will give them that. Both teams are really good. I think both teams are deserving of a playoff shot if they end up, winning the Pac-12. I think both teams can put up a fight. I want to go with Oregon in this game, obviously. I think that they have enough to do it because I really like that defense. But Michael Penix Jr. is just something that Oregon hasn't faced this year. Now, they did face Shedeur Sanders, who he's good, not great. He's not awful, but he's average. And they completely shut him down. I will give them that. I don't know if they're going to be able to shut down Michael Penix Jr. in this game. So, I'm going to lean Oregon. It's not like I'm 100% taking Oregon in this game. I'm going to lean that way, and I think I'm going to leave it at that. But this is by far the best game of the weekend. Like I said, one of the best games of the season so far. At the same time, on CBS, Texas A&M, coming off their loss to Alabama, traveled to Tennessee to face off against the Volunteers. We're at number 19 in the country right now. This game is more watching Tennessee coming off a bye week, facing off against a team that played Alabama last week, coming off a loss. And on the Tennessee side, you also have the look-ahead factor, given that they are facing Alabama next week. So both sides, very interesting, thoughts in the back of the mind that could cost each side the game. So I think this is a pretty evenly matched game talent-wise. I don't know about actual play-wise. I don't know if it's equal, but this should be an interesting game to watch nonetheless. Moving on to our fourth game of this six-pack. It is Wyoming traveling to Colorado Springs to face off against the Air Force Academy in a game that is going to be a big factor in who's getting a New Year's Six bowl bid for the group of 5. I believe the team, no matter what, is going to come out of the Mountain West, so whoever wins the Mountain West will be getting that bid. These are the two best teams in the Mountain West right now. We watched Wyoming beat Fresno State last week. Air Force is undefeated. This should be an absolute stellar game. The West Coast is just loaded this year with good teams playing good games at good times. And again, this is a really big game that I'm excited for. And I just love football so much, honestly. Even the small schools, I love them all the same. So this game just really excites me. It honestly excites me more than this next game that I have on here. It's on here because it's a big game. But I don't know. Number 10 USC traveled to South Bend to face off against Notre Dame. Notre Dame playing in their 4th straight primetime game. USC coming off a 3 overtime game against Arizona. Obviously, Notre Dame coming off the loss to Louisville. I don't know. Battle for the jeweled shillelagh. Like I said on Tuesday, think Notre Dame's good, not great. Outside of Caleb Williams, USC's terrible. If both teams could possibly lose in this game, that would be my selection because both teams would find a way to lose. But I just think outside of Caleb Williams, he doesn't really have much at USC. And I think that's going to cost them the game. I know Notre Dame's playing their fourth straight primetime game, and that can be a lot. This seems finally like the time USC is going to lose this year. And it's not going to matter right now because they can still win out. They'd be undefeated in the Pac-12. They'll make the playoff. But this team, I don't think they're good. I think last year was their shot and they blew it. And yeah, the battle for the Jeweled Shillelagh in South Bend. Finally, the last game, another Pac-12 matchup. We have 5 Pac-12 teams on here this week. It's sad knowing that the Pac-12 will no longer be next year because greed. But, I mean, we are enjoying this last season. It's been very enjoyable to me. I think they're having one of their best seasons of all time, which is also a true shame, given that they won't be here next year. But sometimes you got to go out with a bang. UCLA, number 18 UCLA, travel up to Corvallis to face off against the 15th ranked Oregon State Beavers. UCLA coming off that win against Washington State. This should be an interesting challenge because going up to Corvallis is never easy. And, you know, they got a great home environment there at Research Stadium for the Beavers. I'm worried about UCLA in this game. I think if they win this game, they got a good shot of making the Pac-12 title. If they lose this game, I don't think they'll be making it there. They'll be trying to get to the Sun Bowl, basically. I think Oregon State's a good team. I think they're a really good team. It's tough because this game really is a toss-up, but I think I got to give the advantage to Oregon State here just because they are in Corvallis. If this was at the Rose Bowl and the Rose Bowl was half full, I'd probably go UCLA. So given that is the 6-pack for Week 7. Like I said, 6 almost tremendous matchups. I mean, can't really go wrong here. So given that, it is time to move on to the Sunday League, to the NFL, even though, you know, some of their games are played on Thursdays and Mondays. But it's still the Sunday League. It's the NFL. Let's take a look at Week 6. Right now, as I'm recording, the Denver Broncos are facing off against the Kansas City Chiefs. Honestly, both teams not looking outstanding right now. Obviously, the Chiefs are the better team in this game. And they're most likely going to end up winning this game because the Broncos are just that bad. Moving on to actual Sunday, 9:30 a.m. We are back in London, back at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for the last time this season. I believe we have 2 weeks off from 9:30 kickoffs, and then we're back at the beginning of November with 2 straight weeks of them as they will be in Germany. But this is the last London game of the year. It is the Baltimore Ravens facing off against the Tennessee Titans, and I honestly can't give you a ton of hype in this game. The Titans, they're okay. They're not great. They're not terrible. They lean more towards the terrible side than the great side. The Baltimore Ravens just played an absolute terrible game in Pittsburgh. I know it's Pittsburgh, but still, the people of London, it always seems like they get terrible games, but they're still going to watch them anyways. If I did have to pick a team here, I think the Ravens are just the better team, even though they didn't look great last week. I think that was more of an anomaly than it was, the norm. So I'd have to pick the Ravens in this one. In the 1 o'clock kickoff window, we have the Commanders traveling to Atlanta to face off against the Falcons. Desmond Ridder, still undefeated at home. Last lost at home in high school. So he'll see if he can keep that streak going, and I think there's a decent chance of that. The Commanders aren't good, so I think there's a decent chance that the Falcons can get another win in this one. The Vikings travel to Chicago to face off against the Bears. Two of the teams at the bottom of the NFC North right now. Is something's got to give here. And if I had to guess, honestly, the Bears might get the victory here. The Vikings just seem all out of sorts right now. They just lost Justin Jefferson to the IR. It just, nothing seems to be going right now in Minnesota. And although the Bears haven't been great, they still put up decent performances. I mean, they did against the Broncos, even though they lost that game. They did against the Commanders, obviously, last week on Thursday night, and they got the victory. I don't know if we'll see that type of performance from the Bears again, but I think they can sneak away with the victory in this one. The Seahawks travel to Cincinnati to face off against the Bengals. The Bengals kind of looked back to their old selves last week after beating the Arizona Cardinals. The Seahawks coming off a bye week. Given that I like Seattle in this game because they're coming off the bye week, that extra rest, I think they can sneak away with an away victory in this one. The 49ers, coming off of their beatdown of the Cowboys, travel to Cleveland to face off against the Browns. It's sounding like P.J. Walker is going to be the starter for the Cleveland Browns, which leads me even more to pick the 49ers in this game. I didn't think the Browns were winning with Deshaun Watson starting. The 49ers look like the best team in the NFL right now, and I don't know what to think of this Browns team, honestly. Their defense is really good. Their offense, I don't know. Oh my. The offense is just, it's there. It's not doing much. It's there, though. I'm picking the 49ers in this game. They're the best team in the NFL right now, and I highly doubt the Browns are going to be their first loss of the season. The Dolphins are hosting the Panthers. Devon Achane hits the IR with that injury for the Dolphins. Obviously, that's a huge loss for them. He's had a breakout rookie season at the running back position. So, therefore, I'm still picking the Dolphins in this one. The Panthers look awful. So, I got to go with the Dolphins in this one. The Colts travel to a place that they can never get a win. It's been, I believe, 10 years since they've last got a win in this city, and that is Jacksonville, as they face off against the Jaguars. This is going to be a very interesting watch. Gardner Minshew will be the starter for the Colts with Anthony Richardson out with that shoulder injury. He's hit the IR, so he's out for 4 weeks. Gardner Minshew going back to the place that he really got his start in the NFL. If he's the one that can break that Colts streak, I think it's a full circle moment, really. So this should be a stunning game to watch. Honestly, looking at this slate, is probably one of the top 3 games of the weekend. The Saints travel to Houston to face off against the Texans. Honestly, this is another sneaky good game. I know the Saints aren't great. They put up that huge number against the Patriots last week. I think that's more the Patriots just being awful. I don't know. I I like the Texans in this game because they've been playing good. C.J. Stroud has looked really good. I didn't expect him to look this good in his start in the NFL. So I've been pleasantly surprised with how the Texans are playing, especially for a team that I still don't think is out of their rebuild. I think they still got a ways to go. But I think the Texans can get a victory in this one. Now, speaking of those Patriots, they travel to Las Vegas to face off against the Raiders. This is the 4:05 game for the weekend. Yeah, I don't know. Is this the week Bill Belichick figures it out? And it's not even him, I don't think. I think this is more just the offense being inept and being awful than it is Bill Belichick coaching. But then you got to say, well, who built the team? And the answer is Bill Belichick. I feel like I got to pick the Raiders in this game, just given what the Patriots have put on the field the last 2 weeks. But even the Raiders aren't that great. So this game could truly be one of the worst games of the season. It is very potential that it could be a sicko's game of the week. Moving on to the 4:25 window. We got 3 games in this window. The Cardinals travel to LA to face off against the Rams. I think the Rams not dominate, but they win convincingly. The Eagles traveled to East Rutherford to face off against the Jets. The Eagles' biggest thing here is to avoid injuries. Obviously, East Rutherford in MetLife Stadium, not great for injuries. Obviously, the Eagles do play there against the Giants also, so they just got to come out of this game without injuries, and I think they'll be fine. I think they win this game easy. They're second best team in the NFL. And the last game of the 4:25 window is the Detroit Lions traveling to Tampa Bay to face off against the Buccaneers. Also mentioned, I should have put it on the graphic, which I really should have. It's the creamsicle game for the Buccaneers. This Lions team going up against the Buccaneers creamsicle, it is, wow. We haven't seen the creamsicle in 11 years. And, wow. The Lions are good. I mean, I don't think there's really any doubting that. I think they have a relatively easy schedule the rest of the year. But I feel like I can't pick against the Buccaneers in the creamsicle. Just like in a few weeks when Cleveland travels to Seattle, Seattle is wearing the throwbacks. I'm not going to be able to pick against Seattle in that game. So given that, I can't pick against the Buccaneers in this game. Give me the Bucs. I hate it, but give me the Buccaneers. And then on Sunday night, we, the great people of America and I guess the world, get rewarded with another New York Giants game in primetime. They face off against the Bills. The Bills are going to win easy. The Giants are absolutely awful. And there's not much else to say there. And then moving on to the Monday night game. Once again, we, the people of America and I guess the world, get rewarded with another Dallas Cowboys primetime game. They'll win this game because I don't think the Chargers are that good. The Chargers have good talent. They don't have good coaching, which leads to be a problem usually. So the Cowboys probably win this game. The 2 teams on the bye are the Packers and the Steelers. And that is it for week 6 of the NFL. So given that is going to be it for the preview of this week for Pigskin Perspectives. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you just stumbled across this video, hit like, hit subscribe. Tell anybody you know about the channel. And we'll be back on Tuesday for a recap of all this football that we just talked about. So we hope to see you then.